An anthology of the bad, the short-lived, and the forgotten shows and events from television history. You are listening to It Was a Thing on TV.
Episode 508, submission number 618, Kojak, the 2005 reboot. Kojak aired on USA from March 25th to May 22nd, 2005 for 9 episodes. In the early 1970s, Abby Mann, spurned by the 1963 Wiley Hoffert murders, decided to do a series that speaks to poor and corrupt police work with the prevailing casual attitude towards suspects' civil rights, with the crimes in the Wiley Hoffert cases pinned on young African-American men. Mann developed the project as a gritty police procedural, but with a subtext focusing on institutionalized prejudice and the civil rights of suspects and witnesses. The result was a 1973 made-for-TV movie, The Marcus Nelson Murders. The opening and closing titles emphasize the point that it was a fictional account of the events that led to the creation of the Miranda rights by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1966. Selwyn Rabb's book, Justice in the Back Room, provided Mann with the sort of inspiration that would create a hard-nosed detective by the name of Theo Kojak, played initially in the film and the TV series that followed by the legendary Telly Savalas. According to Mann, Kojak was a composite character based on a number of detectives, lawyers, and reporters who were involved in the Wiley Hoffert murder case. Set in New York City's 11th district, the tough and incorruptible Lieutenant Theo Kojak, a bald, dapper New York City policeman who was fond of dum-dums and saying, "Who loves you, baby?" was stubborn and tenacious in his investigation of crime. When all else fails in the police department, he didn't. And he went on to play the character until a series of made-for-TV movies as part of the ABC Saturday Mystery Movie in the late 80s and early 90s. Suffice it to say, Kojak is a legendary name. So, why would you want to bring it back with another character? Do not be fooled. This is not your father's Kojak. Granted, it is a remake with a similar character, a tough, incorruptible New York City cop. If you were to listen to the man who plays Kojak in the reboot, he would be tough, but at the same time, tender.
Wait, so this is like Father Biff,
Yes,
except there's no Ed Hall in it.
and you're not going to hear anybody say, "I'm going to kick your butt." So who do they get to play this new Kojak for a new generation? Legendary actor Ving Rhames. I want to say he is the voice of Arby's commercials.
Yes, Arby's. We have the meats.
Ving Rhames' Kojak loves suckers and loves saying "Who loves you, baby?" and is a bald cop in the gritty New York City plainclothes division, but he's not going to be fast and loud like Telly Savalas.
No, I mean, who isn't?
He's going to have a soft spot for children. He took it upon himself to tell the estranged father of a murdered woman's child, you need to know in your heart that all you needed was more time. You could attest this to the fact that Ving Rhames did not watch the original Kojak series and relied on his wife, who was a former homicide detective, for research. He said in an interview, "It's like when an actor plays Hamlet, the setting is similar, but each actor brings their own unique quality." So what kind of quality would this Kojak bring to the table? Before we find that out, let's find out who is working with this Kojak. Of course, if you are a good cop, or a good actor, by the way, you want to surround yourself with like-minded, good people. People who will make you better. Playing Captain Frank McNeil, Chaz Palminteri.
Oh, yeah. Everyone remembers him from A Bronx Tale.
And Bullets Over Broadway.
Yes, that too.
Playing Detective Bobby Crocker, Michael Kelly. He played Doug Stamper in House of Cards. And nowadays, he can be seen on Prime Video as CIA agent Mike November in Jack Ryan.
Oh, yeah, with, who's in that? Oh, I forgot Krasinski's in that.
Playing Henry Messina is Chuck Shamada. Nowadays, you can see him in shows that tape up north like Regenesis, Flashpoint, and if you're a fan of Billy Ray Cyrus, he was also in 5 episodes of Doc with him.
Oh, yeah. A favorite on the PAX schedule back in the day.
Playing Assistant District Attorney Carmen Simone, Rosalind Sanchez.
Ooh.
Elena Delgado from Without a Trace. And also Carmen Luna on Devious Maids from 2013 to 2016.
What the heck is Devious Maids?
It's a
have
Lifetime dramedy about devious maids, obviously.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
She played Elena Rourke in not the first reboot, but the second reboot of Fantasy Island.
Oh, God. I forgot there's now 2 Fantasy Island reboots.
And only one of them involves Match and Amik. And rounding out the cast as Detective Emily Patterson is Sybil Tempchine, who's been in Revenge, Without a Trace, Close to Home, and Stephen Bochco's Marriage.
Marriage?
Let's see what cases Lieutenant Kojak finds himself in. Episode 1 is, obviously, The Pilot. A brutal serial killer is targeting prostitutes who have children. When he contacts Police Lieutenant Theo Kojak to taunt him, the case becomes personal. Episode 2, All That Glitters. Lieutenant Kojak is taken hostage during a jewelry store robbery gone wrong. A mind game begins between him and the robber, but Kojak quickly realizes that someone else is calling the shots for both of them.
Ooh.
I believe this version of Kojak tapes in Canada, so familiar names may be few and far between for us down here in America.
What do you mean that all those names down here don't sound familiar to Canada and America? Everybody knows that. Everybody knows all these names in Canada. Why do you have to disrespect them?
I'm not disrespecting Canada, Alan.
Well, you're denigrating it by thinking Americans are stupid and don't know anything about our culture.
I'm not thinking Americans are stupid. I'm thinking I'm stupid.
Yeah, well, of course you're stupid. Well, isn't that wonderful, Alan? You've managed to insult all of us here in America, which, I'll be honest, we kind of deserve it. Yeah, well, it's sure true, Greg.
Episode 3, East 60s. Kojak suspects that a biological mother of an adopted little girl is trying to get her kid back by murdering her daughter's adopted family. Hey, look, we have a name in this episode. Playing M.E. Kwan, Jean Yoon from Kim's Convenience. She played Mrs. Kim.
So does that mean she played Shang-Chi's mother?
It also means she plays that one dude from the Mandalorian's wife.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, he was on The
Yeah,
Mandalorian.
Paul Sung-hyung Lee was on The Mandalorian. Episode 4, Fathers and Sons. An elderly crook may be the killer of Kojak's father. Amateurs with military-grade weapons, including a minigun, rob a place and kill a young father. A criminal threatens one of Kojak's female officers, so they set up a sting at his club. We have a name in this episode playing Grant Cleveland, Aaron Tager. No longer with us. He was on several episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark? 6 in all, playing several different characters in each.
Well, one of them wasn't either Dr. Vink or Sardo.
It's Sardo. No Mr. Accent on the dough.
Chico, he didn't say Mister.
Oh wait, we have a big name in this one, like a really big name. Are you ready?
Hold on. Before you mention the big name, I want to mention that it's a true fact. I believe that all of the catering on Are You Afraid of the Dark was done by Tim Hortons.
I don't know if I should be amazed or if I should like get my sarcasm detector out because I don't know if Alan's joking necessarily.
Of course I'm joking, silly. You think all the catering they do on a Canadian show is basically like Canadian donuts?
I can believe it. You've had Timbits.
Well, they're delicious.
Yeah. I can believe that a TV show produced in Canada would do their catering with Tim Hortons.
You know what the Midnight Society is married to?
Yeah, Nick Swisher.
Yep.
Wait, I thought you were going to say Tim Horton.
No, Tim Horton's been dead for like 50 years. That would kind of be sick. All right, who's this big guest star, Chico?
The big guest star playing George Tucker, Robert Loggia.
Oh, Robert Loggia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drink your orange juice, kid.
Episode 5, Hitman. Kojak takes on a dangerous pro bono hitman who kills his targets with a sniper rifle simply for the fun of it. What?
Bret Hart, what are you doing?
The only clue they have is an email that the hitman uses to receive jobs. Episode 6, Kind of Blue. In order to save a young kid from a dangerous street gang he joined for financial gain, Kojak has to stop the armed robbery they are planning. I'm going to go ahead and call this person a frequent guest star, a semi-regular, if you will, playing the role of Nancy Pastore, as she has been for a few episodes now, Melissa DeMarco, the showrunner, creator, writer, director, executive producer, and star of the long-running comedy series Out There with Melissa DeMarco. And also the principal of Degrassi in Degrassi The Next Generation.
You know what that means? She probably had a few run-ins with Wheelchair Jimmy.
We don't talk about Wheelchair Jimmy.
Oh no, Kendrick Lamar said all he has to say about Wheelchair Jimmy.
Episode 7, Music of the Night. A popular nightclub singer is stalked by a mad bomber who targets those she used to work with and sends her VHS tapes of his crimes. Kojak suspects the stalker is not simply a crazed fan, but someone she personally knows.
Hold on, it's 2005. You should be upgrading to DVD-Rs by now.
No familiar names in the cast, but we do have a familiar name directing the episode. Jerry Levine.
Oh! From former entry going places, correct?
Yes, and also the leader of that creepy cult that Sean was brainwashed into joining.
Oh, well, Sean's a pretty stupid person. First, he joins a great takeout business in Philadelphia, and then he joins a cult.
One of the writers of this episode, Steve Feek, whose magnum opus. Are you ready?
What's his magnum opus? I'm really ready for this.
The feel-good film of 1988, Mac and Me.
Oh, that's terrific. So, I guess we're going to play it.
Eric! Like...
When Chico said the 1988 classic, Greg, you did not expect him to say Mac and Me. I saw it coming from a mile away.
No, I did not expect it. But
Blindsided, oh my gosh.
But hold on, Mike, look, I'm going to do the face, okay? Mike, look.
God, no, Chico. No, Greg, no. No. Bad. Stop.
You know, Ronald McDonald is in this movie. It's too bad that Grimace wasn't in this movie because, the Mets would have capitalized on that so much.
All about the grimace with you.
He also wrote 15 episodes of Let's Make a Deal in the 80s.
Does anybody really write an episode of Let's Make a Deal? Let's be honest.
Oh, you'd be surprised. Like 95% of all of the deals that Monty goes through, scripted.
Or all the zonks scripted.
No.
Okay, I'm just trying to think. Does somebody come up with the concept of, okay, what would be funny if they picked door number 1? Oh, I know, a goat.
Goats are always funny.
Could you imagine if you actually won the goat? Had to come back home with the goat and say, yeah, I want a goat on Let's Make a Deal. At least it's not a chimp.
Yeah, because your damn chimp is going to screw around with your adding machine. Buttons is going to be pushing everybody's buttons. And then your chimp is going to jump on your dentistry patient and start doing an examination. Man, that's horrible if you got to bring home a chimp like that. But no, I was hoping when you were talking about a goat, you got to bring home a goat. You come to the house and say, hey, honey, I got something and let's make a deal. What'd you get? I got a goat. I have to bring Tom Brady home. I have to bring Tom Brady home.
That guy.
I have to bring Tom Brady home. No, never mind.
Oh dear.
I miss the days when if you said goat, it would mean the person who sucked in the game. Not this stupid, the best of all time.
Okay, hey, when I said goat, maybe I did mean that Tom Brady sucks. Did you think about that?
Well, apparently the Murdochs didn't realize that. That's why they're paying $1 billion between him and Dominion.
Episode 8. All Bets Off. Part 1. The murder of a real estate developer leads Kojak to the man's lover and Kojak's personal friend, Kate McNeil, which unfortunately makes her jealous husband and Kojak's boss, Captain Frank McNeil, the prime suspect. Playing Kate McNeil, Dana Delaney.
Oh, China Beach.
So how Kojak and crew can get out of this one, let's find out. In the finale, All Bets Off, Part 2, Kojak discovers that the killer's target was Kate, not her lover, and that her life is still in danger because of an old prison vendetta. And that's the show. USA, known for taking chances on big properties and putting them where they would get the most visibility. I mean, look at anything that airs out of Raw on Monday nights. They put this show and nobody bit. Nobody bought the new Kojak. So what happened?
That's a good question.
I have a critic's review from Michael Spire. He says, and it really speaks to the heart of the show. The fedora and lollipop are there, but USA's Kojak doesn't much resemble the iconic 1970s Skeen. Ving Rhames stars, and while there's nothing race-specific about the lead role, the whole endeavor should make you cringe a bit when you realize that NBC Universal resurrected the famous name from its library just because it could. Rhames plays this version in two ways, and that's a big problem. He's either a beefy hothead prone to bending a rule or two, or he's a teddy bear who cries. Either way, he never says, "Who loves you, baby?" And I miss that. If you think about it, Kojak was a series that was built for its time. You can't have a show like that in an age where your top two police procedurals are the Law and Order franchise and the CSI franchise. You can't be a one-man band in the mid-2000s and expect to find an audience. None of that is the fault of the cast, because you look at Ving Rhames, he's obviously playing the role as best as he can. Rosalind Sanchez, she's playing her role the best that she can. Chaz Palminteri, he can do no wrong. Here's probably where you lose the audience. If you've ever seen Kojak, you know that New York City is playing a starring role. You know that, right?
Yes.
This is from the Variety article. While street smarts are in abundance, everyone seems hamstrung over the fact that the production is filmed in Toronto. You could just tell this isn't the Big Apple.
Yeah, you can try as you want. Toronto's not going to be a substitute for the Big Apple.
But perhaps the worst thing going for it, USA put it on Friday nights at 9 o'clock.
What?
If you thought the Friday night death slot on broadcast television was terrible, the Friday night death slot on cable, you're just asking for it. I tried looking up and down this whole internet for episodes of Kojak where I could feasibly watch it. I've tried Paramount Plus. I've tried Plex, I've tried Apple TV, I've tried Prime Video, I've tried Peacock, couldn't find it. I don't even think it was released on DVD now that I think about it. There are, for your consideration, screeners that are on eBay. But that's it. That's all this whole internet was able to scrounge up for me. Everybody went on to their next thing as well. Ving Rhames is in Arby's. Rosalind Sanchez went on to Without a Trace. Chaz Palminteri's doing whatever he likes to do. The character Kojak, in 2015, it was reported that playwright Philip Gawthorne is writing a new treatment for a movie of Kojak to be produced by and to be led by Vin Diesel.
Well, I guess that makes sense. I mean, if you're looking like, what's the definition of the best bald man in 2024? It'd be Vin Diesel.
I would have gone Dwayne Johnson myself, but you know. We have plans to produce a movie, but all there is right now are just plans. So what can we say about Kojak? An attempt was made to bring a classic TV character into our time, into our world, and let him see our world through his eyes. But unfortunately, no one loved him, baby, and it became just a thing on TV.
You can find us at our website, itwasathingontv.com, on Facebook at It Was a Thing on TV podcast, and elsewhere at It Was a Thing on TV. You can find us on any podcast player, and we're also on YouTube, where you can subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our releases, including what's coming up next time.
Hey guys, next week we get to talk about Diana Canova again. And since we mentioned Vin Diesel, we're going to mention someone else who was in the Fast and Furious movies.
We get to talk about Diana Canova and all of her hijinks as a working mother in a young lady's game. Suffice it to say, she's a big girl now.
Oh, God.
We'll see how big she is next time, right here on It Was a Thing on TV. Thank you ever so much for listening. Please be kind to one another, and we will see you for the next one. Wow!
Arby's, we have the meats.
And